So, Ginger.
Yeah?
You know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What, like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about? Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
I'm Ginger Brown.
We have been off for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Due to reasons.
Two reasons. Yeah.
It's been a rough couple
trying,
weeks. Yeah.
trying October.
Yeah, which is not what you want. You want a good lead up to Halloween.
Yeah. Halloween is all about horror and death. You don't want to be dealing with actual death.
Right.
And unfortunately, my father passed away, so that's why we've been off for a couple weeks.
Yeah, among other things. We're also buying a house and other stuff, all kinds of things. But we are back now.
Yes.
Now we are back, and that's good. So you get a podcast, and you get a podcast, and you get a podcast.
You get a podcast. You lucky listeners, you.
I actually have a bunch of corrections and updates and stuff
Okay.
from last time.
I'm strapped in.
A few, anyway. And you probably don't even remember what we talked about, and I barely remember. But the first one I have here says Jeff Bezos. I guess when I was listening, I thought we should have said Jeff Bezos instead of just Beef Bezos or something.
Okay.
Right, because we were talking about nicknames for Jeff Bezos.
Uh-huh.
So I guess that was just a after the fact contribution from past Miles.
Jeff Bezos.
Bezos. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is a correction. So we were talking about the biggest pumpkin grown in Spa City or whatever.
Yes, on my fabulous local news
Yes.
podcast.
So I think if we were going to do that, you would probably want to do a little bit more research because Spa City is not near Saratoga Springs.
Oh.
Spa City is a nickname for Saratoga Springs.
I see.
So I was like, I never heard of Spa City. I don't think there's one of those around here as far as I remember.
I know there's Ballston Spa.
There's Ballston Spa. Yeah, that's a different thing.
Okay. So Spa City's the nickname for Saratoga Springs, not for Ballston Spa.
Right. Well, because they're all named stuff like that because they're near springs.
Okay.
Right? Like hot springs or whatever.
Okay.
Saratoga Springs is called Spa City. Ballston Spa is because of the spa stuff, I guess, too. I don't know. They're named from the same reason, I think.
Okay.
Right. So that was that one. The name of the friar in Romeo and Juliet, which we mentioned, and I was like Friar John or whatever it was.
Friar Tuck.
No, Friar Tuck is from Robin Hood.
Oh.
Friar Lawrence.
Wait, I thought we were talking about Robin Hood.
No, we were talking about Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, okay.
Friar Lawrence is the name.
I hear Friar and I automatically think Robin Hood.
Start tucking.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Friar Lawrence is the name of the friar in Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
And then we were also talking about...
I won't remember, but good to know.
You were trying to remember what the name of the place in the Neverending Story is. You said the Bog of Eternal Stench, which is from Labyrinth.
Right.
And we were trying to remember what it's called in Neverending Story. It is the Swamps of Sadness.
Swamps.
Really basic kind of name.
Okay.
We were thinking it was Bog of Eternal Despair or something.
Yeah.
Which would have been a little more epic or something, I guess, sounding. But they're just like, no, it's like sad swamps.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
it seems like despair would be more fitting given what happens in that scene.
Well, I mean, it's sadness also, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like, there's levels of sadness, right?
Right, yeah.
You're just a little blue. You're not going to just like give up and let yourself drown.
Yeah. Well, it's a big swamp. It's actually multiple swamps, apparently.
So there's a lot of sadness.
Yeah. And the sadness might be spread out and more concentrated in some areas, I guess. And then this isn't really going to help our listeners, but we were talking about different kinds of triceratops, or not triceratops, but ceratopsids. And I mentioned Diabloceratops, which is a weird one that has sticky up horns on top. And I just wanted to show you a picture of it because it's real goofy looking.
It's creepy.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I feel like that looks like something that would be like in Silent Hill or something when you wandered into a creepy town.
I think it looks goofy as hell. It's like a triceratops basically, but on top top of the frill is just two long horns kind of sticking up.
But they look like devil horns.
I mean, kind of, but they're real long and goofy looking to me.
Yeah.
But they are kind of
don't know.
devilish. Yeah. I mean, it's called Diabloceratops.
It doesn't look like it has eyes.
Oh, it has eyes.
But they're not very visible, which is adding to the creepiness factor.
I guess. You should,
I understand why it's the Diablo.
Diabloceratops, yeah. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go ahead and Google Diabloceratops. Okay, so that was the corrections and stuff. And then the other thing to mention is just that, remember, if you listen through past the social media stuff to the outro, every episode we've started doing secret phrases. If you're the first person to comment those in one of the places that you can comment on the podcast that we're likely to see it, then you win the episode, and Ginger will sing you a song, and I will draw you something if you request a drawing.
Yeah.
Sarah has 2 more episodes, my sister Sarah, so shout out to Sarah.
I have to sing another song?
You have to sing at least one more song.
Okay.
You signed up for this. This is your own fault.
I changed my mind.
It's too late now.
Sarah's a winner. Sarah's a winner. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. She won last week. She won again this week. Sarah's a winner. Sarah's a winner.
There you go. That's the kind of quality
Thank you,
song.
and I'm sorry.
That's the kind of quality song you can expect that you will win if you are the person that does it instead of my sister Sarah.
The drawing will be significantly better. It'll probably be better than my song.
Probably won't be worse.
So it's not a very high bar, but
I mean, actually, the one drawing I have done for Sarah, and no, she hasn't requested any further drawings, so I'm going to go ahead and shirk that responsibility successfully of doing more. Unless for the drawings, you have to request it.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Get on it, Sarah.
So the one drawing I did do for her was pretty terrible, so I don't know.
It's on our Instagram.
But you should check it out on the Instagram, and we should
At What Should Pod.
At What Should Pod on Instagram, and we should do podcast ideas.
Okay, let's do it.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
I have one idea this week, and I am going to insist that we do it.
Okay, well, you haven't heard my ideas yet.
Okay, well, I think that we should do a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
And we can talk about Halloween things.
Okay, that's the
because
whole.
this episode will come out the day before Halloween.
Will it? No, it'll come out in a couple days.
Oh wait,
We should have one more before that, I think.
Dang,
But that's okay because it's Halloween month.
it is Halloween month. Well, we can do 2 Halloween episodes.
Yes.
We could talk about Halloween things. We could talk about our favorite horror movies, favorite costumes, our
So
favorite
just Halloween in general.
our favorite ghosts,
Halloween Town podcast.
our favorite ghosts.
Our favorite ghosts. Well, I do have a favorite ghost,
Do
actually.
you have a favorite ghost? Who's your
I was
favorite?
named after a ghost.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
How did I not know that?
The Ghost of Dibble Hollow is a book that my mom read me as a kid, and I think she read as a kid or something. And the name of the ghost in it is Miles.
How have you never told me this?
I don't know. I feel like I have, but maybe you just weren't paying attention.
Oh. I don't think you told me this.
I don't know. It's possible.
Dibble Hollow, huh?
The Ghost of Dibble Hollow. I believe that's the
That's
title.
your favorite ghost?
I mean, it has to be, right?
Yeah.
I think so, by default.
Yeah.
If you're named after a ghost, it has to be your favorite ghost.
Yeah.
That's a law.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I know what my favorite ghost is.
Oh, well, you brought it up.
Well, I mean, I like Casper.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't like Casper very
I like
much.
the Devon Sawa Casper.
Yeah, I guess he's fine.
Formative part of my childhood.
I don't know. He's kind of basic. Kind of
Oh.
a basic ghost.
Well, you weren't watching it as a young girl, I guess.
That is true. At least to my recollection, I wasn't.
I'm not alone in this. This is not an unpopular opinion.
What, that Casper is people's favorite ghost?
The Devon Sawa as Casper is like, oh shit, I have a crush on Casper, I guess.
He was just the voice, right? Like it was animated still, right?
Yeah, but
Basically.
I feel like he showed up in human form at one point in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw that movie, but it would have been approximately 100 years ago. So
Maybe the cat in Hocus Pocus.
Binks,
Binks, yeah.
he's not a ghost, he's a cat.
He's a ghost though.
Well, he's a spirit that's in a cat,
Yeah.
right?
He's a ghost.
But he's a corporeal cat, right?
He's a ghost in a cat. He's a ghost inside a cat.
Okay, I guess so. That seems like it's cheating. You're like, my favorite ghost is a cat. Which is on brand, but does seem like cheating. Okay, so the idea is
And
Halloween.
do you have any other like honorable mention ghosts?
Now that you mention it, I don't know if I've ever heard of ghosts before because I can't think of any ghosts.
What about Patrick Swayze?
Oh, yeah.
He's a good ghost.
I liked when he was singing Henry VIII to Whoopi Goldberg. That's the part of that movie I liked.
That was very good. That might have been the first time I heard that song.
Yeah, might have been mine too. All right, so Halloween, the podcast, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for the record, I'm going to resubmit this idea every year.
Yes. Okay. I mean, we could talk about, we've been watching horror movies, so we have plenty of those to talk about.
Every day we've been watching a horror movie.
Pretty much.
For the most part.
I mean, I'll be honest, I've enjoyed some of these movies we've watched. I'm also a little bit would be okay if we didn't watch more horror movies, or at least only watched good ones.
Well, that's the thing,
That's
isn't
tough,
it?
right?
You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, horror
31
movies.
Days of Fright, so they can't all be winners.
I was going to say, Halloween is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but see, I referenced a Halloween skit.
Yes, I know.
We have not watched David S. Pumpkins yet this year either.
True. Does that count as one of the 31?
No. No, it does not. But we should watch it anyway.
Okay, so the idea is Halloween, the podcast.
Halloween, the podcast.
Okay, so I have 2 different Halloween themed ideas for the podcast.
All right.
One of them is called 100 Floors of Fright,
Okay.
where we try to come up with different rooms in a spooky haunted house type thing.
Okay.
Right?
Because that's kind of fun.
So in the David S. Pumpkins skit from SNL, if you're not
So I
familiar,
just segued you into this.
right? Basically, the conceit of that of that skit is they're in 100 Floors of Fright elevator, spooky elevator amusement park ride, right? And they're going up, and the first floor is
Creepy girl.
a creepy girl from The Ring or
Maybe
whatever.
she's later. I don't know. But
Yeah, and then there's a bride that murdered somebody, and then there's a lady with a chainsaw or whatever. And then they get to David S. Pumpkins, who's just Tom Hanks in a pumpkin suit, a suit with
dancing skeletons,
an orange suit and tie with pumpkins on it. And dancing skeletons, and he says, well, I'm David Pumpkins, man, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the elevator guy is like, there's 100 Floors of Fright, they're not all going to be winners.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where the name comes from. If you somehow didn't know about David Pumpkins, you should go look it up, because it's very good. Anyway, the idea is
There's a lot of things on SNL that are not good, but that one's a winner.
Yeah, every once in a while, there is a winner. I don't really have much beyond the idea, though. I've only been to a few haunted houses. I don't know if I even really like them very much, but I feel like there could be something fun there, trying to come up with good rooms to put in a 100 Floors of Fright type of thing situation.
All right. Yeah, no, I think that could be fun.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas that could...
The Uppsala Ghosts room.
Okay. How's that different than most rooms in a haunted house?
It's lots of ghosts.
It's many ghosts.
It's just you can't even see the room. There's just many ghosts.
It's just chock-a-block with ghosts.
Yeah.
It's you open the door and it's
and you're
ghosts are spilling out.
And then it turns out that one ghost is scary, 2 ghosts might be scary, but turns out you get over a certain amount, not
very scary anymore. Yeah, when they're
anymore.
when they have to be pressurized to fit into the room because there's so many ghosts in there.
I think about that a lot, because if ghosts are real, they gotta be everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if the circumstances for forming a ghost is rare or not, right? There were lots of dinosaurs, but only a few fossils remain, right?
Right.
So, and there obviously were tons of people in the past, but maybe the person has to die and then be buried in sediment and happen to be preserved in the rock or whatever, but in ghost sediment.
Yeah,
or
ghost sediment.
The
Okay.
ghost equivalent of fossilization or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
So you're saying it's not
real, so.
unfinished business. It's they just got terribly unlucky with where they were buried.
Yeah, maybe. Or
lucky.
Or when.
Or lucky. I mean, depending on your point of view. Maybe you wanted to stick around.
Maybe. Maybe they would have gone to hell. And so it's better to hang out here. At least they're not in hell, I guess.
Yeah. They're just not going to finish their business.
Yeah, I mean,
in that case.
are there ghosts that just are no, the business is better off not finished. Let's just leave it. I'm just
Look, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm headed.
Yeah. Anyway, so ideas your idea is a room that is overflowing chock full of ghosts.
Yeah. So this idea is basically the all the horrible rooms in Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, you mean the little boxes they have all the monsters in, basically? I guess so. I guess so. Kind of. I mean, I was thinking of it, because that's like a spooky menagerie.
Yeah.
And I guess haunted houses could be sort of thought of that way, but It's more like you just you just waded through a room full of ghosts. And now you're in the next room, and this is the skeleton room. And you have to wade through skeletons. And all of them are just a monster. It's just a room completely crammed with one kind of monster. That seems like a bad haunted house.
Yeah.
But it would take a long time to get through.
Yeah.
So maybe people would feel like they got their money's worth.
They wouldn't come back,
It
I
took
don't think.
3 hours to get through this haunted house.
All right, what's your other idea?
My other idea is, so we have talked about this a number of times about the phenomenon where horror movies, they really love to have one-word titles, right? And
You dislike this.
I mean, I dislike it because in a lot of cases, they're more focused on finding some single word they can use than having that word work for the movie, right?
Right.
So like one obvious case is Sinister, right?
Excellent
A movie that you love. I've only seen it once, but I thought it was pretty good. But sinister as a word could apply to almost literally every horror movie.
Yeah, it
right?
doesn't really...
It's extremely generic.
It doesn't really connect with the plot of the movie at all.
Right.
I don't care because it's a wonderful movie, but...
Right. We watched a movie called The Ritual a few years ago, and it was a good movie. But again, like a third of all horror movies could be called The Ritual.
Yeah.
Right. We watched a movie last year called Creep. You mentioned it today, and you were like, you remember that movie Creep? And I was like, no, because that could be any horror movie.
Right.
Right. And it was a good movie. Again, it was a pretty good movie. But the movie's called Creep. That's literally every horror movie.
Yeah.
Right. There are ones that
That
work.
one actually was fitting, though, because it was about a guy who was like kind of a creep.
It was about a creepy guy. Yeah. All horror movies
not
are
about a creepy guy. He starts off as like, you're like, when you first meet him, you're like, oh, this guy's a creep.
Yeah. He's a creep. That's what being creepy means.
No, but it was...
I mean,
it's
that's one of the
different.
meanings of creepy.
It's different, though. Like, when you say, like, someone's a creep, it's like...
Yes.
It has specific connotation.
It-
It's not the same as saying someone is creepy.
Well, sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. And you're right that saying someone is a creep typically has a particular meaning, and that did fit this movie. But the title of the movie isn't "This Guy's a Creep." The title of the movie is "Creep,"
So you think it should have been "This Guy's a Creep"?
not necessarily. But I'm just saying, like almost every horror movie has something that is creepy or creeps or is a creep, like this guy is, right? Like almost every horror movie could fit
Also
that.
an excellent movie, by the way. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's very good.
Yeah, and we liked the sequel as well. It was pretty good, as I recall.
I remember not liking the sequel as much as the first one, but
Yeah. We just watched a movie called Oddity, which is better, I think, than Creep or Sinister or some of these other ones, because at least it's a little bit less generic, right?
I feel like that one worked on multiple levels too, because she had a curiosity shop,
Yeah.
but she also was herself kind of an oddity.
Yeah.
It
worked. No, it
it
worked
pretty well.
It worked, and it's not too generic, but it's a little generic. If in a year you were like, you remember that movie Oddity? I probably will remember, but I might not, because there could be lots of movies called Oddity, right?
Also a very good movie.
Right.
We've had a few winners this year. That was the first one I watched that actually scared the hell out of me. Like when I went to bed, I made sure extra light was on.
Right.
I was like a little bit like creeped out after watching that one.
Yeah. We watched a movie called Barbarian, which was pretty good.
Because it took place on Barbary Street.
It took place on Barbary Street, but otherwise the title didn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
But again, it seems like they're like, well, it's one word. And at least Barbarian is not super generic as far as horror movies go.
Yeah.
Right. However, I was also thinking about how sometimes if you make it extremely generic, it's less generic somehow. For example, the movie It doesn't really get any more generic than that.
Yeah.
But everybody remembers it.
Yeah.
Right. And also the Thing.
Yeah.
Right. That one again is as generic as you could possibly be, and therefore goes back around to be less generic somehow.
But would they have if they had not become the cult classics that they are?
Well, no. I mean, a movie has to be good and to begin with, probably for the title to matter, basically, right? But another one is Insidious, which I actually haven't seen.
No, that's been on my list to watch for a while, and I haven't seen it. But I think it's the same guy that did Malignant. But I've heard Insidious is good.
Yeah, but I've heard Malignant is good, and it wasn't very good. So Malignant's another one also. Malignant Malignant is at least a little less generic just as a word, but still almost all horror movies have something that's malignant.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite to the extent that this movie did, but also Insidious. Again, every horror movie has something insidious, or not everyone, but it's a pretty generic word.
Insidious was like before I saw Sinister. Insidious and Sinister were two that I got confused all the time.
Yeah. You also have like classics like Psycho, Scream, Halloween.
Yeah, but see, like, again, like Scream and Psycho are such classics that, like,
right.
I don't feel like
Saw, right? One word. But those at least, they're Psycho is pretty generic, but since it's so foundational to the genre, it's obviously, you remember which one Psycho is. The same with Scream, I guess. Every horror movie has screaming, but it was so big that everybody knows what Scream is, I guess. And Saw, I guess, a lot of movies horror movies might have something Saw-ish about them, but it's not that one at least a little bit specific. Anyway, so all that to say, my idea is we have a random word generator that generates us a one word, and we try to imagine a horror movie with that title.
Okay.
And I had a website that gives random words, a random word generator website somewhere here.
So it doesn't even have to be a horror word? Like it could come up with like butterfly and we're going to have to come up with a horror movie?
Yeah, it could.
All right.
Hospitality is what I just got. Actually, that's good because a lot of times it takes on a creepiness because it's like a normal or even good, potentially good word.
Okay,
right?
Hospitality.
So Hospitality is a movie where
it obviously takes place in a hotel.
Well, I was thinking, that could work. I was thinking it's one of those movies where like some teens are in a car out in the middle of nowhere and a car breaks down and they have to like stay at some random people's house for the night. And then it turns out to be a horrible murder house or something, like hillbilly murder house or that kind of thing, right?
I was thinking like a murder hotel.
Murder hotel could work too because they're called like hospitality service or whatever, right? Sure. Yeah. I have a sort of Southern hospitality, I guess, association with the word hospitality. So that's, I think, why I went to there. Yeah. And also that's a very common there's a bajillion movies like that too.
Well, yeah, which is why like we want to be more unique.
Right.
We do a hotel.
A hotel could be interesting.
Some like crazy bellhop running around murdering people.
Okay, murder bellhop. Actually, that was in Oddity, the movie we just watched. There was kind of a murder bellhop.
It's just mentioned briefly.
Yeah.
But we could expand upon that.
Yeah. Also, like there's like a certain genre of things where you're in like a hotel. Oh, I guess The Shining, right? Where you're in a hotel and you get lost in the corridors and like it's infinite or something, right? Like or horrible things are in every door or there's that Doctor Who episode.
Yeah. I think hotels could be very creepy.
Yeah, it could be creepy.
Especially if it's in like an old hotel.
Yeah, an old hotel in the middle of nowhere. The phones are out or something kind of thing. The bellhop's killing people or something. All right, I'm generating another random word.
All right.
Conviction. Again, that could easily be a real horror movie title.
Conviction.
Right? It could be about somebody who's really convinced of an idea or has a lot of conviction about an idea. Could also be about somebody who was convicted of a crime.
Yeah.
Or someone who will be convicted of a crime, like
someone who's escaped from prison. I feel like that's a pretty common one.
Yeah. I'm imagining something where it's like the conviction is somehow in the air of like, will this person get convicted of some crime? And it's like, maybe it's a thriller of like, person's innocent, you think, but then
it's more of a thriller than a horror.
A twist where they're not innocent and they murder someone. Like maybe they have to kill the lawyer or something, right?
Okay.
Or I don't know, the judge or the bailiff or I don't know, something. The whole jury. The whole jury gets murdered. Actually,
you know what? I just want to take a second to like let everybody who's listening know the excitement in your eyes when you said that.
Well, that would be a crazy movie. But then the excitement came because I realized that movie should be called Hung Jury. Right? Somebody is strangling the jury members to death.
So they all get strangled, or does just one get strangled?
They're
because I feel like with horror movie titles, it doesn't have to be like exact. It could just be one guy that got hung. The rest of them could get killed in other ways.
Oh yeah. They don't have to get strangled, but they all have to get killed.
Yeah,
and or not all of them. I think it's like the jury is sequestered to deliberate on the verdict, and they're stuck in a hotel or whatever. or maybe not a hotel, whatever
And
wherever.
they accidentally checked into the murder
They
hotel.
checked into a hospitality hotel,
There's
and
crossover possibilities.
yeah, and then they start dying, and then there's like a final.
What
girl,
happens in
probably,
that situation?
where jurors are getting murdered?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's ever happened before.
I feel like mistrial or something, right?
Well, yeah,
Would
probably.
be called.
Probably.
And
If
then they get a new jury,
the
and
person-
then those jurors start getting murdered, and they're like, maybe we should use a different hotel.
right. I mean, that would be interesting because like whoever like the person on trial has got to be real sure that they're not in any way able to be implicated.
Right.
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 Or everyone's going to assume it's them. Maybe that's the point, is the murderer's trying to frame the person or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's hung jury, but conviction is not about the jurors getting murdered, I think.
Conviction is a thriller where we're trying to figure out if this person did it or not, and he murders a lawyer, and then
I think maybe I'm picturing that the person on trial is like close to their lawyer, right? Like they're friends or related or something. And like My Cousin Vinny kind of thing, maybe. And at some point their lawyer realizes they really did do it, and they've been murdering more people, and has to figure out what to do, and also has to run away and not get murdered. Something like that, maybe.
okay.
And maybe the person is murdering people for some kind of like political reason or something, because they've got so much
Got
conviction
deep political conviction.
or something like that,
Okay.
maybe.
I don't think I would watch this movie. I think I want to watch the Murder Hotel one instead.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be good. I would watch Hung Jury.
Which also could be a porn title, honestly.
True. Probably is, actually.
Probably is.
Okay, this one, this random word that I just got, I don't think is going to work, because I just got the word musical. I don't think you could call a horror movie musical.
No.
Or would that be pretty funny?
Oh, I think calling anything musical would just be like a bad title for a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a
don't know.
skip.
I think you could it'd probably be called The Musical, and it could be a horror movie where people putting on a musical start getting murdered.
No.
I think you could maybe do it, but
I mean, I don't know. I guess.
we should decide what we want to keep doing in a second here, but the website just crashed, and then I reloaded it, and I got a truly unusable word.
Okay.
You could maybe make musical work, but you could not make by
BY.
work. You could not have a movie that was just by.
No, but maybe BYE.
Yeah, or BUY maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but definitely not just BY.
Yeah.
By. All right. So those that's the possibility.
Okay.
That's the idea I think I'm excited about right now, but what do you think from what we've talked about so
We can
far?
keep going with this one. It's fine.
Okay. It is kind of funny though how it isn't that hard to think of something that could be a horror movie from most of these words.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, they're pretty formulaic, I guess, in general.
I guess so. Horror movies are, yeah. Okay, we got examination.
Can we pass that one? Because that sounds too similar to, I feel like, I don't know.
Too similar to what?
I don't know. I feel like that's too along the lines of the other ones we've done.
Okay. Well, I was going to say it could be like a medical examination, or it could be like a test at school.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, the next one is valley.
Valley.
You could have some people that are in a valley and the mountains around them stop the cell signal. And so they're pretty isolated
so
in the
they've
valley.
like gone up on a trip like to some spot in the desert or something.
Yeah. Oh, Death Valley.
Yeah. Death Valley.
Death Valley, but it's just called Valley.
Valley. Yeah. And there are desert people, murderous desert people.
Yes.
Kind of like a Hills Have Eyes kind of
that's what I was thinking
situation.
of too. Yeah. Murderous desert people. Are they?
I feel like it would be a slasher film where it's just like
Yeah.
they're just crazy people killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And it's nice and generic. Where if later on you were like, remember that movie Valley, you'd be like, no, not really.
No, not really.
Because sometimes horror movies do have those much more iconic types of names, like The Hills Have Eyes, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh my God, don't.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've seen it.
I watched the first 15 minutes of it and I couldn't keep going.
Okay.
Like it implies that a baby gets raped and it's real. It's
yeesh.
gross. It's gross. It's not good. It's not good.
Okay. Well, I wasn't really planning to watch it, so but it is an iconic name,
It's
right?
an iconic title.
Or the
and
Texas
it's an
Chainsaw
iconic,
Massacre, even.
It's for like I'm not, and I mean disclaimer, like I'm not a big fan of slasher movies.
Yeah,
like, I love horror in general, but slashers just aren't my
Not
jam.
particularly slashers, yeah. Okay. I think we should, I'm enjoying this, but I think it'd be fun to try to find one that's really difficult to make into a horror movie.
Okay.
I just got the word weight, like Weight.
Okay.
I'm sort of thinking of like Thinner, the Stephen King thing.
I was thinking like a murder gym.
A murder gym.
A murder gym.
Somebody gets like killed with a barbell or a dumbbell or something.
Yeah. So like, like
somebody's head gets crushed by like a 50-pound thing or whatever.
Yeah, you have lots of opportunities for like gruesome deaths in a gym.
Yeah.
But it's like somebody who's like taken like way too many steroids and he's just like gone crazy.
Right. Or I was gonna say maybe he got cursed by a witch or something, and so his like steroids, like he just gets pumping up bigger and bigger and explodes or something.
Yeah, he just got steroid rage.
Roid rage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Weight. And the main character's like somebody who's like really heavy, but they're trying to lose weight, and then they get trapped in this murder gym or something, right?
Okay.
And like
they're the hero of the movie.
They're the hero, but there's a lot of scenes where they're like trying to run away, and they're like, like everyone's way more fit than them or whatever. But maybe they cleverly maybe they do some Home Alone type stuff where they like swing some weights down against at the bad guy to get him away or whatever.
Yeah, I guess like if it like I feel like gyms are pretty like well lit.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have something where like the power goes off or something.
Power probably goes
like it's
out.
a 24-hour gym and he's like working out there at night.
Right.
Power goes out.
Right. I feel like there's a ragtag crew of people who are maybe all the people that are there late at night are there because they don't want other people to see them or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And the roid guy is mad because they're not fit or something. One of those kind of things.
I was picturing him more as just like a motivationalist, just like raging and killing, kind of like a Jason or a Freddy or something.
Wait. You said motivation, and I thought about motivational speakers. Like what's that guy? Tony something.
Tony something.
Like he's murdering people to try to motivate them. So maybe it's a little bit of a Saw type thing. He's trying to motivate them to lose weight with murdery tactics. Like he's forcing them to run really fast on the treadmill until they have a heart attack or something.
Okay.
Something like that, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty awful.
That could legitimately be a thing. Like that could legitimately be a real horror movie.
Yeah.
I feel like if that doesn't already exist, it might at some point. Okay, so that's one that could work.
Yeah, I feel like a little iffy about this one because I feel like it could easily like veer into fat phobic territory.
Yeah, well, I mean that's one thing though. With a lot of horror movies, do reflect some of the bad mores of our society, right? Like most like slasher movies are very slut shamey, right?
Yeah.
For example. Right. And so
you're just like, I feel like it seems like just punishing people for being gluttonous or whatever.
Right. So it could either be that and we just imagine it as, because that kind of, it could either be that or it could be like lean into how that's bad. Right.
Yeah.
Because if the villain is somebody that's trying to make people lose weight, then that sort of plays against that a little bit. Right. And maybe in the end they escape and they never go to the gym again and just learn to be happy with their bodies or something.
I was right not to go to the gym.
all along. Yeah. I just got the word lease as a random word.
Lease. Okay. Well, we did watch one called The Rental.
Yeah, I was going to say we watched The Rental, which
wasn't good.
Wasn't very good and very generic title.
But lease, it could be like somebody moves it. I feel like we watched one where like somebody moved into an apartment and like shit got weird and people started like do you remember this movie? I feel like it was a couple of years ago. Anyway, I'm picturing like somebody moving into an apartment building and like the rent is super cheap.
Right.
It's in a really nice area. It's like a really nice building and like the neighbors seem really nice.
Right.
It's like, what's the catch?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, we watched a movie.
Like her cat disappeared.
Yeah, it was like the building was like a cult or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That even could have been called The Lease or something.
Yeah.
I was imagining a car that you lease, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's a Christine kind of thing. If you don't make your payments, the car
Eats you
or something. Maybe
the commentary on capitalism.
yeah, aren't they all?
Yeah.
Or like it could be because I was trying to imagine like what would be a really bad way to make a horror movie, right? Like it's actually like reading the lease agreement is so boring that you die or something, like I don't know, something stupid like that.
Yeah,
or like,
that's pretty stupid.
Or like you didn't read the fine print. That's
there was fine print that said if you don't make your payments, the car will eat
that's
you.
the tagline, right? The lease. They didn't read the fine print. Right? That's definitely the cover.
Yeah.
And yeah, the car, does the car just straight up eat you? Or maybe it just, I don't know, what could it do to sort of.
It could have like all kinds of creative ways to kill you. Like it smothers you with the airbag.
Yeah. Does it kill a lot of people?
Or like it just like the seats chomp down.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a car. Okay, this is a car that is really cool, but the lease is really cheap, but it keeps going to people who like can't afford it anyway or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not cheap. Maybe it's just that it's so cool that people keep trying to do it and then they don't make their payments.
Don't make their payments and they get
eaten by the car.
Or
the car like crashes into stuff on purpose or something like that.
the car ruins itself.
Well, I was thinking like, isn't it
What if
in
the
Christine?
car like? What if in one scene the car like opens its door and takes a corner really fast? Person's not wearing a seatbelt, so they fall out of the car, and then the car runs them over.
Right, and then it's like you should have worn a seatbelt because now the car has one-liners, I guess. I was thinking of Christine, which I haven't seen in a long time, but I feel like the car fixes itself automatically.
Does it?
Like it gets in a crash or gets hurt or something, and then it just like fixes it, like regenerates basically or something.
I don't remember either. But
I feel like that happens. So that's kind of what I was imagining. It's some kind of haunted ghost car that it'll just be fine after it gets in a horrible wreck or whatever. Maybe we don't even have to show it like regenerating. It's just like it gets in a horrible flaming wreck and then it's back at the parking lot.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah, but I think it's more fun if like the car comes up with other creative ways to kill people.
Yeah, but I think you should do that at least once.
Yeah,
right?
they could do that at least once. Yeah.
And I do like you weren't wearing your seatbelt, so it throws
Like maybe
you
it
out.
has a sunroof.
Oh yes.
There's got to be a sunroof scene, right?
Right.
Chop.
Yep, for sure. How like gory is it? Maybe there's like
that's the whole thing. Like it's all about the gory deaths. It's like Final Destination where you're just watching it for like the weird deaths.
Yeah, maybe there's like a scene where the car like kind of sputters and like the guy has to pull over or whatever, and like the engine is like smoking or whatever. So he opens the trunk. He opens the hood, and like while he's like looking in there poking around, like the engine starts and it like chews up his hand or something, right?
And then
and then the trunk chomps down on him. Yeah, the hood chomps down on him.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah. How silly is it? Because I could also imagine a movie like this where like the car chomps somebody up and then like bits of the person dribble out of its exhaust pipe or something.
Oh yeah,
like it's pooping them out
as
or something
silly
kind
as
of thing.
possible. Yeah, I like that.
And maybe the car also burps.
Yeah.
After that happens. Okay, well that's a pretty reasonable kind of horror movie.
Yeah.
A pretty silly one.
Would you call it reasonable?
I mean, as far as horror movies go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well that's kind of fun. Okay, how about the word paint? I feel like that could work. Maybe it's somebody who like is a painter and like, but they're painting with lead paint because it's like the 60s or something. And they go crazy from the lead paint fumes or something.
What if it's somebody who's like paintings,
like an artist?
Like the paintings start, like they paint like
coming
death
alive.
scenes and they start coming alive.
Or wait, do the paintings come true or paintings themselves come alive?
I was thinking the paintings come true, but paintings could come alive too.
Maybe both, right? Like it's a painter who is like upset, like he can't help paint these horrible visions in his head or something, he or she, whatever. And then they start coming true. And then like at some point they paint like a horrible demon and the demon comes out and gets them or something. Like that.
And they're like in people's houses. So they start killing people that his paintings become really popular.
Right.
And so
the collectors.
Yeah. So
people love a good like rich person getting murdered.
Yeah.
In a movie like that.
Yeah.
Right. Is the paint, it's called paint. So I feel like maybe the paint is cursed or haunted or something. The paint itself. Maybe he got it from an old Chinese guy that was also selling mugwais or something, or one of those kind of silly tropes from movies.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, I don't feel like I feel like that trope should go away probably.
Yeah. I was being a little facetious about that part specifically, but like something like that where it's like some kind of cursed, or maybe it's like, maybe it was like found, or maybe it was part of like the estate of a dead painter and like this guy inherited it or bought it at an auction or something.
Yeah. I mean, because I feel like it doesn't have to be explained that much, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's like there was a painter who was
maybe he just found these paints.
Well, I was going to say maybe it was like a famous painter or a somewhat famous to art people painter, right? Maybe not like a household name, but like famous to other artists, and who died, but he was like a tortured, pained artist or whatever. And so this guy like buys the paints at an auction of this guy's estate or something. And he thinks it's a real steal because like he loved this guy's art and really like the artist was big in the art world, but not necessarily like big in the real world. So that rich people would be trying to buy stuff at auction, right? Like an artist could afford it potentially. I don't know. I guess that's what I'm thinking. I feel like that would be enough, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also fine if you just like his paintings start coming to life and there's not really an explanation too.
Yeah. I feel like there should be at least a little bit something spooky with the paint itself or something. I don't know. All right. Well, I think that's probably good enough for this episode. Should we wrap up?
And that's what we strive for.
Good enough. Yeah.
You can find all of our links to our social media on our website, coolpodcast.website. You can email us your ideas to ideas@coolpodcast.website, and we will give you a shout out and talk about your terrible ideas. Follow us on Instagram @WhatShouldPod. We also have a YouTube channel now that's might be updated again at some point.
Well, every episode gets put up there.
Yeah, we have all our episodes up there. Sometimes Miles does fun animations.
Right.
So you don't want to miss those. So you should subscribe and that bell notification.
Yeah, the YouTube things.
The YouTube things. That's it. That's all I got.
Welcome to What Should Our Outro Be About? The outro where we try to figure out what this outro that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm still here.
I'm also still here.
First things first, we need a phrase. We need a phrase to say to win the episode.
Can your generator come up with a phrase?
It only gives words, so I guess I can just take some words.
Yeah, let's do some generator
first
words.
word is undress.
Undress.
Second word is extinct.
Extinct.
Third word is pin.
Undress, extinct, pin.
I guess that's as good as anything. Could any of those be horror movies? Extinct could easily be a horror movie, I guess.
Yeah. Pin could be.
Undress, I suppose, could.
Yeah.
Undress, what would that be?
No, don't.
All right.
We're done with that part.
We're done with that part. Okay. So what was it? Undress, extinct, pin.
Yeah.
That's the phrase.
Undress, extinct, pin.
Okay. I have something that I think you're going to like.
Okay.
I have a song that got stuck in my head and then turned out different. Like in Pet Sematary when they come back wrong.
Okay.
This song got buried in my head and then came back wrong.
Okay.
You may remember we've done this once or twice before. I did that got them boobs like Jagger in one episode. So this one is, can you guess who this artist might be that might have gotten stuck in my head for some reason?
Just guess. Oh, Chapel Roan?
Chapel Roan, yes. Because Ginger plays Chapel Roan in the car constantly.
It's not my fault. Rory only calms down when I put on Chapel Roan now.
Often, yeah, that is the case, yes.
It's because he's the coolest baby ever.
So I got that song stuck in my head, but then it mutated into a different thing. And then I thought about it a little bit, and then it actually sort of turned out kind of fun. So do you want to hear
song? That Chapel Roan song?
This song, you'll know the song. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. You can kill 1,000 orcs on Mars, shoot another shot to blast the bastards. You can drive around a cool space car, hit the turbo boost to zoom it faster. $2, babe. Well, $2, babe. That is what it costs just to play this arcade.
What?
That's pretty
What
good.
It's good, but like what?
I don't know. That's
Where
what happened.
did that come from?
My brain. I mean,
Why?
Chappell Roan's brain and my
What's
brain.
going on in there?
Basically, for some reason, the first line just got stuck in my head over and over again about killing orcs on Mars. Because the real line is you can kiss 1,000
kiss
boys or 100 boys in bars or whatever. Yeah. And also, I kept thinking it was 1,000.
Yeah, it's 100.
I know it's 100, but yeah. Anyway, I thought that was
That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot of kissing in bars.
Yeah, I guess so. So would 100.
Yeah.
But it would be 10 times more.
I feel like 100's more doable.
About 10 times more doable.
Yeah.
So that's what I got for this outro. I do also have one thing. I did mention this to you already that I just want people to know about, which is that Oscar the Grouch is a Time Lord.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Elmo's Adventures in Grouchland, but in that movie, he jumps down into Oscar's trash can, which has a whole space inside of it. It's much bigger on the inside, and there's a swimming pool in there. There's literally a swimming pool in there. So Oscar the Grouch's trash can is a TARDIS.
Yeah.
And it also has a portal to Grouchland, I guess, in it. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
It all kind of fits. So I just want everyone to know that that's a fact.
My idea was going to be we just do our best screams.
Okay. That's going to be horrible audio.
Yeah.
We also do have one more.
We could do our funniest, quietest screams.
Our quietest screams.
No, stop.
Wow. Oh, Owen Wilson's on the podcast. Welcome.
Welcome, Owen.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. I think we should save real screams for next time.
Okay.
Because we're going to do another Halloween one probably.
Yeah.
And we can for real scream and blow out the speakers.
Okay.
Or microphones or
I'll
whatever.
save it for next week.
Okay. All right. Well, is that it? Are we wrapped up there? Is that good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Good
We
enough.
can call this one good enough.
Good enough, as we always strive for. Well, thanks for listening. We're sorry, and we won't do better next time. Bye.
What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure it out. Didn't catch what that was about.